Teacher Talking Sports, what it does, what it do, how we live, and with just today and tomorrow remaining in the MLB regular season, I'll do a video that I like doing at the end of each year. That is the MLB all mostly went undrafted fantasy baseball team. So, yes, these guys I use the website Fantasy Pros, so that averages out 5 different major fantasy baseball sites. If their average draft position was more than 300, why 300? A 25 round, 12 person league, 300 guys are drafted. But if they were higher than 300, they were eligible to be on here. It's all mostly one undrafted because obviously there might be some larger leagues. Some of these guys may have been seen as reaches during the draft, but they panned out. So, yeah, let's get into it. I did a catcher, first baseman, second baseman, shortstop, third baseman, 3 outfielders. Did a util because there were so many outfielders that I could have went with. 5 starting pitchers and a relief pitcher. So yes, let's start with the catcher. As bad as the Rockies were, Hunter Goodman really performed for the team. And I should mention all stats provided are through games played Friday, September 26th. But Goodman, after really not doing much his first 2 years, showed some pop last year, but batted 190. This year, 276 batting average, but 30 home runs. Not just that, he drove in 90 runs. He was an all-star. Yes, every team needs a representative, but I think he was a deserving all-star for the Rockies. He is the catcher. Other guys like Augustin Ramirez, Drake Baldwin, some rookies as well that could have been on here. But first base, first base was pretty easy. It's got to be Nick Kurtz of the Athletics. Should be the unanimous AL Rookie of the Year. Probably will receive some down MVP votes. Was the 4th overall pick in the 2024 MLB draft. Didn't make his debut until late April 23rd, and in his 115 games, 291 batting average, 1001 OPS, 35 homers on the year, 84 RBIs, 88 runs. So you figure if he had played, had been called up from the get-go, he'd probably be right around 100 for both with 40 home runs. Incredible year from Kurtz. The Athletics do have some good offensive pieces, and Kurtz, just, what is he, 22 years old, turned 23 by the time next season starts. An awesome guy to look forward to as they eventually move. But second base, Jorge Polanco, and I'll say second base and third base was a little bit more difficult to find a super deserving player, but I'll go with Jorge Polanco. The Mariners' offense definitely did much better than it did last season. Polanco was part of that. 265 average, 25 homers, 75 RBI, 63 runs. Those are all his highest marks since the 2021 season when he blasted 33 homers. Also, 6 stolen bases are the most since that time. 133 OPS plus. So he's actually been designated hitter more than second base, but second base is the position he has played most when not DHing, so I decided to include him there. Shortstop, what a season it was for Geraldo Perdomo of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Really tried his darndest to get them in the playoffs. Were finally eliminated yesterday, but at least according to Baseball Reference, he's actually leading the NL in WAR at 6.9. 291 average, 19 homers, 98 RBIs, 97 runs, 27 stolen bases. So also 94 walks. Incredible. Has the opportunity with 2 games left to have 100 runs, 100 RBIs, maybe 20 homers, close to 30 stolen bases. This was a guy who had just 3 homers last year in 337 at-bats, 6 in 407 at-bats in 2023, and 5 in 431 at-bats in 2022. Again, third base, really hard for me to pick. I'll go with the All-Star Zach McKinstry. I will say he was definitely useful if you played him prior to the All-Star break, because much like many of the Tigers, he faded in the second half. And also, if you played him at home, he batted over 300 at home and I believe under 200 on the road. And not just that, he's eligible for a bunch of positions. It's not like he had a bad season. 261 average, 12 homers, 19 stolen bases. This was a guy who batted just 215 last year, 231 the year before that. So definitely a much better hitter, 114 OPS plus. Again, just had a second half swoon, but I decided to go with him. There just wasn't too many options, but boy, was there a lot for outfielders, and I left off some good ones that I really hate that I had to. Let's start, and I should mention outfielders and starting pitchers. I'll name in alphabetical order by last name. So let's start with Ramon Laureano, formerly began the year with the Baltimore Orioles before he was traded to the Padres. So combined with both teams batting 281 with 24 homers, 76 RBIs, 72 runs, 7 stolen bases, has performed well with both Baltimore and San Diego. This was a guy who looked like he could be one of the better players in the league in 2019. Just never had nearly that success since 2024. Batted 259 with 11 homers. So definitely, first with the Orioles when they didn't really have anyone producing up to par. Laureano was one of the rare guys that was, and he has performed well with the San Diego Padres, 9 homers in 50 games. So next outfielder, let's go with the Los Angeles Dodgers, Andy Pages. Just 24 years old, his second season. Now, that last year was a bad rookie year, 248, 13 homers, but definitely has improved at the plate. Doesn't walk much, but 274 batting average, 27 homers, 85 RBIs, 74 runs, and 14 stolen bases. I mean, the percentage isn't great, caught stealing 7, but that's a far cry from the 1 stolen base he had last year for the Dodgers. So he's also hit 2 homers in the last 3 games. And unfortunately, this guy hasn't played in more than a month, but was his breakout year. That's the 27-year-old Kyle Stowers of the Miami Marlins, all-star this year. Never really had put it together, just 6 career homers and about 300 at-bats prior to this year. This year, a 288 batting average, 25 homers, 73 RBIs, and again, think the homers and RBIs, how much higher they'd be if he played this past month. 912 OPS for a 149 OPS plus. A guy who batted just 208 and 192 at bats with the Orioles and Marlins last year. Again, so many outfielders that I decided to include a util. I'm going to go with Joe Adell of the Angels. Adell, not a high batting average guy, 236, but 2 categories he really helped his fantasy owners with: home runs, 37, RBIs, 97. So again, a small chance at reaching triple digits in RBIs. He's always been a guy that the Angels have wanted to see pan out, was a highly thought of prospect last year. Easily hit a career high 20 homers, but only batted 207. So at least the average went up a bit, and 37 homers. Amongst the league leaders. So, some of the outfielders, well, the 2 that I hated leaving off the most were Tyler Soderstrom of the Athletics and Trent Grisham of the Yankees. The guys I included just had much higher averages, but I mean, Grisham, I think he had 1 less homer than Adell and some less RBIs, so gave Adell the slight advantage. Sal Frelick, and then guys like Giancarlo Stanton and Dalton Varsho. They just didn't play enough, but man, did they help their owners who picked them up later. And Chandler Simpson definitely was a great source of stolen bases. Now, starting pitchers, again, alphabetical order by last name, starting with Andrew Abbott of the Cincinnati Reds. Now, they thought highly of him since he's debuted in the big leagues, 26 years old now. Pitched solid last year, 3.72 ERA, but definitely has stepped it up. And, Reds hoping to make the playoffs. Of three great starters in him. Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo this year, 9-7, 2.80 ERA in 28 starts, 145 strikeouts, a 1.15 WHIP on the season. So, yes, amongst the league leaders in ERA, actually fifth amongst those that qualify, seventh in WHIP. So awesome year for Andrew Abbott. Next, Matthew Boyd of the Chicago Cubs. Remember when Boyd back in, what year was it? 2019 struck out 238 batters, and you're like, man, he's going to get it together and he's going to be a borderline future ace. Just never worked out for him. But this year with the Cubs, 14 wins in his 31 starts, a 3.21 ERA. No, he's not striking out guys like he previously did with Detroit. 154 and 179 2/3 innings, but much less prone to giving up the home run ball. Also, a very solid 1.09 WHIP on the season. Was a guy who used to walk a bunch of guys, barely over 2 walks per 9 innings. This year, let's go with another Chicago Cub who was unfortunately put on the IL and will miss the start of the playoffs. Cade Horton could win NL Rookie of the Year. Him or Drake Baldwin, probably the two main candidates. A 24-year-old, 11-4, 2.67 ERA, 97 strikeouts in 118 innings, and a 1.08 WHIP. But he really took off as the season continued, as after the All-Star break, he had a 1.03 ERA in 12 starts with a 0.78 WHIP. Ridiculous. I mean, to me, he's NL Rookie of the Year. I think Jason Stark on The Athletic, I think it was him, gave Baldwin the advantage. We'll see. I would give it to Horton. This guy unfortunately missed 3 months, but man, was he awesome on the mound when he was there. I'm talking about Tyler Mahle of the Texas Rangers. The 30-year-old, again, didn't pitch from June 11th to September 18th, so actually missed more than 3 months. Still made 16 starts, and he was awesome in them with a 6-4 record, 2.18 ERA. A 1.13 WHIP. Unfortunately, due to missing so much time, I almost decided to not include him, but obviously isn't going to have thrown enough innings to qualify for the ERA title. But if he did, I actually think he would have led the AL. But yeah, so unfortunately he was out for 3 months. Hopefully you're able to stash him on your IL, because whenever he pitched for you, he did really well. And another guy who didn't start the year in the big leagues because he was so bad with the Orioles after they acquired him, that's Trevor Rogers, who, unfortunately did not pitch well yesterday against the Yankees. But don't let that discourage you from what he did all season. In his 18 starts, 9-3 record, 1.81 ERA, nearly a strikeout an inning, 103 and 109 and 2/3, and a 0.9 WHIP on the year. So yes, was a rough start, but the previous 2 starts he gave up no runs in 11 innings. Was an all-star in 2021, runner-up for Rookie of the Year with the Marlins. Was never able to put it together after that. Really struggled with both teams last year. And, now it's looking like he'll start next year as the Orioles ace. Relief pitcher, now usually I'm going to go with a closer, but I had to go with a, non-closer. I'm going to go with Adrian Morejon of the San Diego Padres, the 26-year-old. Why am I going with him? I mean, he put up incredible numbers, 2.11 ERA, 69 strikeouts in 72 and two-thirds innings, and a 0.91 whip. Just 3 saves, though. He won 13 games. Yes, a relief pitcher winning 13 games with, that solid of an ERA and whip. I had to actually give him the slight advantage over Emilio Pagan of the Cincinnati Reds, their closer. Will Vest would have definitely been in high consideration, but again, much like many of the Tigers, he started to see his numbers get worse as the season went along. So that's my relief pitcher. I should have mentioned some other stars I considered: Edward Cabrera, Brian Bello, Quinn Priester, Casey Mize, Noah Cameron. So if you think one of those guys should have made it over Tyler Mahle, I understand. But let me know if you picked up any of these guys. Who were some of your best pickups this season in fantasy baseball? I would love to hear. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.